students, welcome to the E-Pathshala PG courses. I am Professor Indira Mehrotra from the Department of Physics, University of Allahabad. Today, we will study about the leadership issues, why so few women in leadership at the top, and what are the confidence issues. This forms the 7th module on women's science and leadership issues of the 12th paper on women's science and technology in the subject women studies. The outline of the chapter, we will first introduce the chapter and then we will learn about the challenges before women in the leadership role. Then we will analyze women leadership in science, technology, engineering and mathematics, known as STEM. Next, women leadership in corporate sector. Next, women leadership in politics, and then we will analyze the reasons as to why women leaders are not successful, what is the sticky floor, and in the end we will summarize what we have learned. Role of women has changed drastically over the last 50 years across the globe. Although the number of women going for higher education has increased tremendously, the number of women in the leadership role is still very few. Unfortunately, leadership is gendered, men are leaders, but females are women leaders. Many books and literature are available on women leadership, but none on men leadership. Unfortunately, women still do not have the complete gender equality as desired by them. According to the UN, complete gender equality can only occur in a society in which men and women enjoy the same opportunities, outcomes, rights and obligations in all spheres of life. Lack of women leadership in most of the employment sectors all over the world is the perfect example of perpetuation gender inequality. Women make nearly half of the human resource of any country. If that resource is not utilized to its full potential and not being made a part of decision making processes, then economic potential of the country is bound to suffer. Improvement in educational attainment, professional development, awareness of their rights, etc., has not only resulted in any significant rise in the number of female leadership in various sectors. For example, in the corporate sphere, female representation falls with seniority. If we look at some statistics, the representation of women leaders in various sectors, the company board of directors in America is only 9.9%. In Europe, it is highest 11.9%. In Asia Pacific region, it is 6.5%. And in Middle East and North Africa, it is lowest 3.2%. If we look at the politics, we find that only nearly 19% of the world's legislators are women. In STEM, only about 2.8% of the departments have female chair in USA. What does leadership mean? Characteristics of a good leader is having skills of inspiring, communication, assertiveness, competence, ability to constantly learn and change. The question is, why do people accept leadership roles? They may do so for financial gain, they might have been selected by management, or they might have been elected by peers, or they might be taking it as a part of their duty. There are many challenges to women in the leadership role. We can examine them one by one. The first challenge is known as the glass ceiling effect. Glass ceiling effect is defined as an unofficial barrier to opportunities within an organization or company in which protected classes of workers, particularly women, from advancing to higher positions. Carol and Timothy have first used the term glass ceiling in their article in the Wall Street Journal on why women cannot seem to break the invisible barrier that blocks them from the top jobs. Since then, the term has become synonymous with the various obstacles a woman faces in achieving her career goals. The next hurdle can be the selection process. Women are often not promoted to higher ranks due to various reasons. Number of women candidates qualified for promotion to executive posts is quite small. They lack general management skill and experience. Men hold the posts and they tend to promote only men. The next hurdle can be the workplace relationship. Employees find it easy to climb the ladder of hierarchy if they have some mentors. Mostly people prefer mentor of the same gender. As there are few women at the executive posts, there are not many female mentors. Men are resistant to mentoring women due to sexual harassment issues at the workplace. The next hurdle is caused due to globalization. Due to global expansion of companies, many executives have to move to new countries. Women executives face difficulties in shifting. Social attitude and culture in many countries may not accept women leadership due to their prejudices. Next hurdle can be of internal motivation. Women often lose the drive to be a contender for the top post due to family demands, stereotyping, prejudices, discrimination and lack of opportunities they face along the path of becoming a leader. Then there can be lifestyle conflicts. As the women reach the top level, their job becomes more demanding. Often, they are not able to cope up with the dual pressure of family responsibility and career, and they voluntarily resign from their jobs. Women having children are reluctant to work long hours or travel in connection to their work. This further reduces their chance for promotion. Then is cultural and reward system. Women are often bypassed for the rewards and recognitions that result in career advancement due to male dominance and social beliefs. Women have a strong desire to be liked. Women take up more service load so that they lag behind in research, resulting in slower career progress. Then another important reason is lack of role models. Role models play a very important role in inspiring women to reach the same level. Unfortunately, there are very few women leaders at the top who can be a role model. Next is the double bind. Women are expected to be soft and nurturing, whereas leaders are supposed to be aggressive and tough. When a woman becomes aggressive, she is considered to be acting against her gender. Women are not allowed to speak for themselves, and at the same time, they are criticized for not speaking. When a woman ages, she is sidelined, whereas when a man ages, he takes up the role of an advisor. The next hurdle is that of discrimination. Men are favored for promotion over women. Even in women dominated fields, token men advance faster than women. Women are paid less compared to men for the same work. Let us now have a look at the women leadership in STEM. What do these barriers mean to those women who aspire to become leaders in the areas of science and technology? Women wishing to become leaders in STEM areas are faced with a double challenge. First, they have to overcome the hurdles in their own discipline and then again to get the desired position. Women who successfully navigate the barriers are in a better position to become leaders. Leaders in academia hardly talk about women and STEM, making it difficult for women to become leaders. Women scientists prefer to get married to male scientists. This dual career and domestic partnership decreases their job mobility and scope for career advancement. The resistance to women leadership is stronger in male dominated areas, and the women leaders in these areas are needed to behave differently from leaders in other areas. Earlier, women pioneers in leadership positions were advised to behave like men. Women leaders in science dressed up in pants, wore no makeup, did not show any emotions, and were as dedicated to their work as any of their male colleagues. Today, a woman does not have to lose her femininity to become a leader in science. Women leadership has now become transformational leadership. Women are often left out of many opportunities along their career path. In one of the recent studies, it has been shown that only 9% of the mathematics journals had women editors. One reason for this state of affairs is the belief that natural brilliance or knack drives success rather than hard work or persistence. This is called the brilliance effect, and sadly, women are less likely to be seen as brilliant. It has been found that in fields where words genius and brilliance are not attributed to women, they are less likely to reach the top of the academia and other structures. The implication is that to be a top mathematician or a scientist, one has to be brilliant and women are not. By the same logic, when a woman succeeds in STEM areas, it is attributed of her being a woman, thus diluting her intelligence and brilliance. These types of tokenism dishearten the women in their desire to surpass their peers and are often passed over at times of promotion. The number of girls in science in schools and colleges is high in India, but the number of girls getting selected in top scientific institutions is small. The numbers are dismal in prominent institutions in India like Indian Institute of Technologies, Indian Institute of Science Bangalore and Indian Institute of Science Education Research. We take the example of IITs, which can be a mirror to the future generation of STEM talent in India. Soon after the joint entrance examination results were out, coaching institutes have been proudly advertising about their successful candidates. Almost all of these advertisements had rows of photographs of bright young boys beaming with pride, but one sees very few girls who by now have almost equal enrollment in science as boys. The results show that the percentage of female candidates qualifying for the admission to IITs is very low, and even now it is a boys' club. The situation is so dire that soon after the results were announced, the admission board of IITs recommended an increase of 600 seats allotted to women. The committee also recommended awarding merit scholarship to all the female students irrespective of their parents' income. At present, women make up only 8% of the student strength at the 23 IITs of the country. This base has to increase in order to have more future women leaders in STEM. In keeping with the agreement achieved at the 4th World Women's Conference at Beijing, 1995 on gender equality, the Government of India has come up with many schemes to promote girls in STEM. The report of INSA entitled Science Career for Indian Women, an examination of Indian women SS2 and retention in scientific careers, and similar studies conducted by DST have resulted in several policy activism, interventions and inclines for young girls to adults seeking education and careers thereafter. We next examine the women leadership in corporate sector. Women in top executive positions were nearly non-existent from 1970s to 1990s. Organizations having conducive work environment for women at the workplace perform better. In countries where corporate sector promotes diversity, economic growth is better. Men are favored over women when two candidates are equally qualified for the same job at the workplace. Also, male managers are preferred over female managers as per a recent survey. Indian Company Act has made provision for having at least one female in the company's board of directors. As a result, representation of females in the Bombay Stock Exchange Limited companies has increased from 5.8% in 2012 to 12% in 2015. Sweden, Netherlands and France have made similar provisions in the corporate hierarchy. In few exceptional cases, women have defied the common perception and stereotypes and have reached the top executive posts. Examples are the Chief Executive Officer of PepsiCo, Indira Nooyi, was ranked as second most powerful woman of the world by Fortune in 2016. Facebook Chief Operational Officer Sheryl Sandberg has launched a website, Lean In Orgi, which focuses on inspiring and educating women on leadership issues. Sandberg believes that women should put their foot on the gas pedal and push for opportunities, that is lean in to the workplace. Till 2005, there was no female CEO in the public sector, banks, but now there are quite a few. Notable Indian women leaders in the banking sector are Arundhati Bhattacharya, Chandra Kochar, Usha Anant Subramaniam. Kalpana Morpia is the CEO South Asia and India operations at JP Morgan Chase. Kiran Majumdar Shaw is the CEO of Biocon India Limited. Naina Lal Kidwai is the former group's GM and country head of HSBC. Government of India has introduced many schemes to promote women in the corporate sector. Empowerment of women was introduced in 2012. It aims at creating skills for gainful employments. Stand Up India was launched on 7th April 2017. It promotes entrepreneurship among women and SC and ST communities by funding loans from 10 lakhs to 1 crore. Then there are several NGOs like CARE, Seva, Deepmala working for the upliftment of women to make them self-reliant. We now come to the study of women leadership in politics. Female suffrage did not exist till 1980. Now, women have obtained the right to vote in most of the countries in the world. Women are underrepresented at all levels, from local and community levels to highest levels in government. Women hold a very small fraction of the parliamentary positions globally, meaning thereby that they have very little representation in all facets of the political process. Reasons for the marginalization of women in politics are many. They may lack access to technology, they may have lack of financial means, or they do not get enough support from their party. Women also face many socio-economic barriers like gender discrimination, violence, intimidation, entrenched traditional view of the society. Many women have overcome these obstacles with great acclaim and have become successful women politicians. As of January 2017, globally 10 women are serving as head of the states and 9 are serving as the head of the government. A good news for all the women activists. Aung San Suu Kyi, winner of the Nobel Peace Prize and newly elected de facto leader of Myanmar, has once famously said, "In societies where men are truly confident of their own worth, women are not merely tolerated but valued." Some women who have overcome the barriers and have become successful politicians are Angela Merkel. She is the German president since 2005 and she has been ranked as number 1 in the Forbes list of world's most powerful women 10 times. Julia Ellen Gillard, former Prime Minister of Australia. Sheikh Hasina Wajed, Prime Minister of Bangladesh. Hillary Clinton, former US Senator and US Secretary of State. Women have proved to be successful political leaders. They can work along the party lines through parliamentary women's caucuses even in most challenging situations. They can champion for the causes of gender equality, gender violence, electoral reform more effectively. In policy making bodies, they not only advance women's rights but also the rights of children. Outcome of the 4th World Conference on Women held at Beijing in September 1995 was a declaration known as Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, and it has set internationally agreed target on gender balance in political participation and decision making. Since then, governments in individual countries are working in this direction. Many countries have opted for quota system. For example, Rwanda has 55% reservation, whereas South Africa has 43% reservation for the legislative seats for women. India Panchayati Raj Amendment Act is meant for reservation for rural and urban females in these grassroots institutions. This is to encourage women participation in socio-economic decision making, resource use and management. Panchayat women leaders have been especially active in bringing education and health consciousness to their villages, even though they are frequently held hostage to the caste system and patriarchy. Why is it so that many women fail as leaders? What is the sticky floor? There are many reasons. Number one, they may fail to balance the professional and personal lives. They are emotional, sensitive and more of a helper. They are less confident, hesitant to take tough decisions necessary for the growth of any organization. They may fail to capitalize through strategic relationships. Coming to networking, men and women have a tendency to network with members of their own sex. Men's network includes very few women. Majority of the high level jobs are being held by men. Men pass the news of job opportunity mostly through social networking. Women come to know of the opportunities much later through acquaintances of friends, and often they lose the chance due to lack of timely action. Women first build up relationship and then talk business. Men talk business straight away. In the end, if we summarize what we have learnt, it is more difficult for women than men to be leaders. Leadership style, gender bias, family responsibilities, lack of confidence are the key factors responsible for the underrepresentation of women in the leadership positions. Once these challenges are addressed, more women are likely to reach the top. This will bring a positive change across the nation and even across the world. Thank you.